Hello students, a very warm welcome to you all to the lecture of English Literature of Standard 4th. Today we will be talking about the chapter that is from your textbook, chapter number 8, and the name of the chapter is Chips. Okay students, please keep your books ready so that we can start. And before telling you the story of this chapter, I will be telling you something about the author. Okay. So the name of the author is Deb Scott Lowrick. Now, who is Deb Scott Lowrick? Well, she is a teacher, a writer, an artist, a designer, a performer, a director. She is also an arts facilitator and so much more. Okay? And her ancestors, they were from the East End for 4 generations before her parents moved to South London. But Deb, she returned back to be part of the creative community and to teach in the local primary school. Okay, so this is about her. Now we'll start with the chapter, so keep your books ready students. Okay, so this chapter, Chips, is the story of a poor family who lived in a war-torn country, okay, and they encounter with 2 soldiers of the army that had occupied their country. Okay students, so one day what happened that because of the war, actually the family was starving. There were days when they went hungry, they had nothing to eat. So one morning what happened was 2 soldiers of the army knocked on the door, and the mother opened the door. When she opened the door, she found that 2 soldiers were standing there, and they pushed a sack of potatoes, a large sack of potatoes towards her, and asked her, or actually ordered her, to make potato chips out of it. Now they said this and they informed her that they will be back by noon and the chips should be ready by then, and they left. Now when the mother stepped inside the house, she was all worried. Now why was she worried? Because the mother along with her family, they didn't know how to make chips or what actually these chips were. They were really worried that when the soldiers will come back by noon to have the chips, what will they give them? So they decided that they will make something out of those potatoes and they will keep the potato peels for their own meal. Okay, so the entire family gathered in one room and they started thinking that what should they do. Then someone in the family suggested, actually she was the grandma of the family, and she suggested that we can make a soup from the peelings for ourselves and we'll cook the potatoes, we'll peel the potatoes and we'll boil them. She gave each child a handful of potatoes and asked them to wash and peel them. When that was done, she built a large fire, okay, a large fire to cook those potatoes, and she hung a big pot over the flames. Then she poured in fresh water and she added the chopped potatoes. The whole family sat around the open fire to watch the water bubble and boil. Okay, you know that bubbling happens when the water is boiling? Yeah, okay. So the youngest child of the family said that what is it, the big fuss about a potato soup or a potato broth? There's nothing to fuss about it because boiled potatoes are not that special. Then the worrying part started growing more and more. They were now very tense. What should they do? So the grandma suggested that let's add some herbs in it. And the grandpa of the family suggested that we should add also few mushrooms to it so that the taste of the broth or the soup will enhance. The mother cried, "Of course," and she sent the children to the forest to collect the juiciest mushrooms and berries. When they had all the ingredients ready, they poured it into the pot. They added it into the soup, okay? And the room was filled with a very delicious smell of that stew. The sumptuous smell wafted the kitchen. Now, this delicious smell was tempting the kids. They wanted to taste the stew, but the mother was worried that what if these children go and drink the stew? What will I give to the soldiers? So she covered the pot with a lid so that the smell wouldn't tempt them. Okay? Now there was a knock on the door. So the mother went and she opened the door and she asked the children to hide the potato peels. The soldiers came in and they asked for the chips. The mother took the pot to the table and she opened the lid. She uncovered the pot, and with the help of a ladle she started pouring the stew in the bowl. Now one of the soldiers saw this and he was really angry. He was furious seeing this, that we had asked for chips and what are you serving us? This is a broth. We didn't ask for a broth. The other soldier, he explained that okay, don't worry, let's taste it. Maybe this tastes better, let's just have it. And he took out a rye bread from his pocket. He tore the bread into tiny pieces and offered some to his friend who was the other soldier. Okay, the mother lifted the soup from the pot and she served the potato broth in their bowls. Now they started, one of the soldiers, he tasted first that what is it, how does it taste. When he tasted, he didn't like it and he actually spat it on the table. The mother and the family, they were so scared because of this. They got so scared that the mother stepped behind, and the family said that what happened, what went wrong. The soldier said that what is this, this is really bad, it is not tasting good, this is a swill. The mother stepped back and said, I am so sorry, but this is our favorite recipe. And the soldier said, almost laughing, that this is your favorite recipe? Really? Come on. One of the soldiers said, he was dark-haired, and he called to his friend, let's leave. People here don't even know how to cook chips. Huh? And then they both walked out of the house. The children waited for them to depart. They were standing near the window with their noses on the window glass, and they watched the soldiers go. When they were sure that the soldiers will not return, they added the potato peels to the broth with few more herbs, and so that the herbs would add flavor to it, and then they cooked it up. Then they dunked the chunks of the rye bread which those soldiers have left, and they had it with the steamy stew or that soup which they made, and they ate the rye bread and the soup until their tummies were full, and they thought that this was the most wonderful stew they had ever tasted. Okay, students, so this was the story. I hope you understood it and you will be able to solve your exercises based on this story. So students, I'll bid a goodbye to you all and would request you all to study well and stay at home. Please stay safe. Okay students, thank you.